This is a very different game from any game I've ever played before. A mystery game, a detective type game, more of solving than anything. So this is the total opposite from a game like Call of Duty or Bayonetta or any game. This is a thinking game. And it's a unique style thinking game that doesn't require the use of many colors to solve the mystery. Simply by limiting colors and limiting your scope and vision and putting everything in black and white, it allows for you to concentrate more on what's present within the atmosphere than on the style of the game. So it's less with regards to the overall style and more with regards to what's present. And we need to inspect things like a proper inspector, a proper detective, and see how things go. This is my first time
Company
playing this
man woke
game.
me up. Said you'd need ferry to the Obra Dinn. Not many eager for that job. Seems a bit late if you ask.
I didn't.
What's in the box?
I don't know. Hoist it up in a few minutes.
Hey! How?
Carefully.
So this is my first time playing this game, and as a first time player to this game, I don't know certain things associated with this game, but I do know that there's a mystery. So, like all mystery games, this is going to take a while. This might take a long time than any other game I've played, simply because you don't rush investigation. You may rush to beat a boss in the game, or how to take out a boss, or how to survive and not die so many times, or how to do combinations with regards to executing an attack and follow-up combinations. But games like this requires you to be very patient, to take your time, and to concentrate. Any game that has the word inspection in it or detection in it requires you to use your head more than anything else. So if you're not the type of person that likes to think a lot when you're playing a video game, this might not be the game for you. The purpose of me playing this game is to see how I go about solving this mystery, and to look back on it years down the road and to see if I was mostly right or mostly wrong. Kind of like AI Somnium, when I was mostly right until it came down to the boss, the final boss. So in this game, I'm definitely probably going to be talking a lot, since it's all about detection. So I might have to go back to the beginning again. So I'm going to go back to the beginning again. I don't know if the game will allow me to go back to the beginning again to read what was present, but I'm going to try to. If it doesn't allow me, then so be it, but I'm going to try to. 1796, London, 800 tons, 18 feet round. Captain R. I don't care about the captain name. Crew, 51. Last voyage, Orient. Okay. No, don't care about that. East India Company, London office. Testimony. So, 1796. Noted. Inspector. Insurance claim, London. Obra Dinn. East India Company. Dispatch. Immediately prepare for full assessment. Okay, so there was an insurance claim to check everything so that every property that's on the Obra Dinn is accounted for by the insurance claim inspector, chief inspector of the insurance claim. And now we're here in
Company
1807.
man woke me up. Said you'd need ferry to the Obra Dinn. Not many eager for that job. Seems a bit late if you ask.
I didn't.
What's in the box?
I don't know. Hoist it up in a few minutes.
Hey! Ow!
Carefully.
Okay, so as proper investigations go, I don't know what's going on right now. I'm in the dark. From what I've learned from this game is that a murder happened on this ship. And it's my duty to investigate this murder. But I don't know when I'm going to investigate a murder, or if there's ever a murder going to happen on this ship at all. What I do know is my job is to inspect things, just like the insurance claim inspector of property that belongs to the East India Company. My job is probably here to inspect what possibly happened to said insurance claim inspector, or property that insurance claim inspector used to do, but I've taken over the duties of his duties for the East India Company. One was 1796, we're now in 1807. 97, 98, 99, 1800s. So, 11 years, a full 11 years, 10 to 11 years since that time period. I'll say 10 years. 10 years since then, the Obra Dinn has been carrying cargo for the East India Company. Nothing was mentioned of anyone dying. Now, the Obra Dinn weighs 800 tons by itself, without cargo, I'm assuming. So it's extremely heavy, but the logic of ships being heavy on water is pure science. So it doesn't really matter. Opposite. Okay, so let's see. What else? Anything suspicious about the documents? This is a game that's going to take me time, and I'm the type of person that take my time when it comes to investigation games. I don't jump anything, so I have to make sure everything has been paid attention to. I do know that the voice of a woman and the voice of a man change every time you change, and you start all over from the beginning. 1796, London, 800 tons. The good ship, it was classified as the good ship. It was lost to sea in 1803. It was built in 1796, but it was lost to sea in 1803. Also noted. Okay. And then eventually was found. So it was a lost ship, and we're here now in 1807. So eventually it was found in 1807. It was claimed to have lost to sea in 1803. Okay. All right.
Company man woke me up. Said you'd need ferry to the Obra Dinn. Not many eager for that job. Seems a bit late if you ask.
I didn't.
What's in the box?
I don't know. I'll hoist it up in a few minutes.
Hey! How?
Carefully.
He doesn't know what's in the box. Someone, a company man, will come up to take this inspector to the Obra Dinn, a ship that was lost to sea at 1803 and now found 1807. He doesn't want to go to the Obra Dinn, probably assuming it's cursed or something. Did he say anything within his words that would imply that he has been on the ship before? Or is it just words say from people talking about the ship now being found? I don't know yet. I'm not gonna go back to the beginning again. I think I don't have my first clue, but maybe I do. 1803, 1807. Only 3 years. So 3 years from the time period it got lost, 3 years it was found. So something happened between those 3 years for it all of a sudden to be found. Is it because it wants to be found after 3 years? Or did it drift on the sea for about a full 3 years and then all of a sudden 3 years later it's found? It's hard to believe something could be drifting in the sea for a full 3 years, maybe a year at most, but 3 years? That's very unlikely. We'll see. First thing is first, since this is an inspection game, I'm going to inspect everything. Rope. Can I crouch? There's no crouching, but there is POV. Zoom in, zoom out. Triangle, square, circle. Don't do anything. Left, right, up, down. Does not do anything. Center D-pad does not do anything. R2 does something, it turns the camera. L2 does something, makes the character move. Good. Okay. The anatomy of the game is present with regards to how it's designed. On the software is designed on, removing everything else except the structure of the game itself. And the use of light. So maybe, well, I doubt that the use of light and dark is an important factor with regards to the mystery, but maybe that is something to be considered. Why make a game look this way if there's no intention for the game to look this way? From the point of view of the characters, they don't see anything wrong with this. Everything is black and white. But from the point of view of the player, it could be there. That in itself could be a reason. Otherwise, it's just a stylized choice. So let's just proceed. He has a suitcase. He doesn't know what's in the suitcase. Nothing to be concerned about so far. It's a random ship like any other ship. Nothing special about it. Did this character say anything about himself? I don't think he did. He just sounds like he doesn't want to be here. Not in the form of he's scared or anything, but in the form of it's a taxing job. So I'm not sure if this is a ghost ship or this is just a regular ship. Now since I'm on the ship, can I go back down? Yes, I can. Can I take the suitcase? No, go. It won't allow me to take the suitcase. That's very strange. Or maybe he will take the suitcase. Or the briefcase. Or the carrying case. I guess not. Can I speak to him? No. I guess I have no choice then. Nothing is damaged on the ship. Don't know what my real objective as on the ship is at present. But I do know I'm here to investigate something. Don't know what that something is. It looks like a normal ship. Nothing's wrong. Sails aren't present. They look like they're torn, to be honest with you, like they were damaged. The sails are damaged, but the pulley lines and the rope and everything on the front of the ship is present and undamaged. Let me check the port. Can I interact with this? There is a dead body, or a dead man's skeleton here. So wait a minute, hold on. This ship was created in 1796, and it was reported missing in 1803. I'm pretty sure, like, okay, so if something goes missing in 1803, the year,
It's too heavy!
I understand. Would it take an entire year for the person to be like this? No. Would it take 2 years for a person to be like this? In the hot sun? 3 years? Possibly. In the big sun? Well, yeah. I would say that would make sense. 3 years are nothing but baked sunlight.
It's too heavy! Lift it yourself!
Interesting. He says first it's too heavy, then it's too heavy, lift it yourself. It might just be saying that. So, am I supposed to go back there? I'll let him keep talking. Seems to be like a cage for a dog. It's broken. So an animal was either in here and broke out, but yeah, it looks like it was broken out. It extended outwards rather than inwards, so the force was extended outwards. So let's say an animal broke out. The animal had rabies or something. Infect everyone on the ship. Everyone died. That would make sense. But for it to drift for 3 years without crashing onto shore, that's very suspicious. Or, even more logical, someone could just pull at the bars. I doubt someone's strong enough to pull at the bars and rip it off. And I doubt an animal is strong enough to break through bars as well. So it's more likely that someone pulled these bars off than an animal to break through. Otherwise, the animal will have to be some type of creature. There's no prints on the ground or indication of any type of tracks from an animal. Or maybe it's not present due to the time period. There's linings on the ground. Starboard side seems to be fine. Nothing. One damage is found on the top of the ship. One item. So a bar is probably missing somewhere. Broken bar. That's one thing to add to the mystery. Could be used to kill the guy over there. There are many easier ways to do so than to break something off. So I highly doubt it. It's probably for something more important. Anything present with regards to the sun or the moon and the ship. Any images that are shown, logically hiding in plain sight. On the sea. So there is something hiding in plain sight. Something all the way over there. Interesting. Do I have anything in my inventory? Well, binoculars weren't created during this time period. That's not suspicious at all. It's weird how all the sails are completely damaged. Why would all the sails be completely torn? Like every one of them are torn. As if not just wind took hold of them. Someone purposely cut through them. Maybe it's just a stylized choice to represent a ghost ship. So I'm not going to look too much into that. Any fingerprints on anything? Anything damaged port side? Nothing is damaged port side. Starboard is okay, port is okay. Should I go in? No. Can I investigate the body? Okay, so yes, I mean, from my point of view, I can investigate the body. And logically, I'm pretty sure if someone died of starvation, their bones, their legs wouldn't go backwards like this. Unless they fell, he felled from here and his leg twisted backwards. Looks more like this was arranged than anything else. Let's see here. There's an axe. So there's an axe here next to the body. So it could be most obvious. Someone took an axe to his leg. Then his leg twisting back like this. His rib cage, the front part of the rib cage is okay, but internal parts are kind of damaged. There's no blood. Well, actually, no. There are like little flies surrounding it. So there probably was blood over here on the axe. It's just not present. There was nothing present on the top to indicate that he fell. And there's no damages here. And even though there's an axe here, you can't really assume that someone cut his leg. The flies are simply there because this is a dead body. So the only thing truly suspicious other than the dead body, which really isn't that suspicious, it could be just died from starvation, is the only really suspicious thing is the one thing that seems to be out of place, this being broken out like this. The axe doesn't really give me much to chew on, but it does give a sense of something happened here with the axe then dead body. But the most suspicious thing to me right now is this.
It's too heavy. Take it yourself or open it here.
What the hell? So the game is called Return of the Obra Dinn, and he opens up a book that's within a case that's called Return of the Obra Dinn, and it says a catalog of adventures and tragedy, 1807. So he doesn't know what's in here, but in the book, in the case, it has a book that says Return of the Obra Dinn, tragedy 1807. So the year this was found, the same year I'm going towards the ship, there's a book that was written during this year. Strange. Preface. Okay, so he doesn't know what's in there, so this was written this year, and it was specifically given to him by someone from the East India Company. Okay, so that makes sense. Let me go back. Return of the Obra Dinn, a catalog of adventure and tragedy. Yeah, but why would, if someone was to give this to him, call it a catalog of adventure and tragedy, unless there's something bizarre about giving this information to this person in this manner? Okay, so from what I could tell, it's like this person has been on the ship before, and he has information about the Obra Dinn, and he was on the ship before our main protagonist now is on the ship. And he wrote maybe sometime before 1807 about the Obra Dinn, but it was found in 1807. What did it say? It was found in 1807, or it's just the year of 1807 now? So let's put it. Let me just look at it more. This person knows about the Obra Dinn. This person has filled out information about the Obra Dinn. Our character doesn't know anything about the Obra Dinn, but this person does. And this person wanted to tell the ship's strange tales within the pages of this book, but it hasn't been completed. Failing health. So this person was on the ship before, but was unable to complete the book. So Henry Evans was the first investigator in 1807, and then they send this guy in his place, or this investigator in his place. So the pocket watch can not only identify the fate of the person, it can identify who they are specifically. So if I want to know who someone is specifically, I go straight to the pocket watch. And eventually, the fate of that person will overall be revealed after they've been identified, or maybe before they've been identified. Either way, I can see both their fate and know their identity at the same time. The next few pages will seem bewildering at first. All will make sense in time. Okay, so this person definitely was on a ship, and the pocket watch is some type of weird bizarrity. Be able to see people's death before they happen, like controlling of time. Or maybe the pocket watch allows you to see ghosts, because this is like a ghost ship. So it's not really like going back in time, and more like allow you to see the ghosts that are present on the ship. So is the pocket watch like I forgot what you call it, a cursed object? And said cursed object allows you to see what happened on the ship because it's time related. Complete each chapter accurately and return the book by guaranteed post to the French Office of Affairs in Morocco. French Office of Affairs. This is an East India Company ship, but it's to be returned to the French office in Morocco. Okay. So this person got on the ship and started to write an entire book of everything that he or she saw that was present, but they never got to finish this book, and we now have control of this book. And instead of writing it like a log, the person decided to write it like chapters in a book instead of just log of entry. It's kind of weird. The journey, the ship, the crew, life at sea. So he has everything in here. Where they were going to, what the ship is, who the crew were, life on sea. So the pocket watch basically told him everything he wanted to know in regards to the people that are on the ship and life that were at sea based on what he saw with regards to the crew and the ship. But how would he actually know life at sea based on the... Maybe he meant life at sea with regards to the crew behavior rather than life at sea itself. Interesting. Try and sim through the entire book first. Okay, so I can't end it without simming through the book. Triangle means sim through the book. I see what circle means. Circle just goes back to the beginning, just like square. Yeah, circle and square are pretty much the same. What about X? X just... okay, so let me go back. X zooms in to what's present. Okay, so let me see. X. Robert. Crew. Hong Il. I've been Sa. Hong Li. Oh yeah, it is them. It's just more present. I can't see it here, but it's just more present. So it's a total of 60 crewmen. 60 crewmen. Their faith can only be present once I identify them. I know who they are, but I have to identify them by using the pocket watch first. So there's nothing present to reveal anything with regards to who these people are. Nothing that sounds suspicious about their names. Nothing that stands out. Everything that's pretty much the same. Captain, first mate, second mate, third mate, fourth mate. Cook, butcher, gunner. Gunner mate. There's a gunner mate. Okay. Purser. Headsman. Artist. Passenger, 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 passenger. Ship steward. Captain steward. Okay. So if the captain goes down, he takes charge. So if the ship goes down, he takes charge. And any of you guys take charge of the ship if the person in charge of the ship goes down. The Swedish guy takes charge of the captain's position. Okay. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stewards. Indian, Swedish, Wales. So that doesn't really matter. Let's look at fourth mate, third mate, second mate, first mate, and captain. All Englishmen except for first mate was Scottish. Okay. Makes sense. This is an East India Company ship. The stewards who would take charge. 2 Englishmen. one Irishman, one from Wales, Sweden. So nothing stands out. Passengers are from Formosa, or some of them are. Nothing to be suspicious about anything present. Sketch of life aboard Obra Dinn. So this is what I'm interested in more than the crew. Okay, so let me go back. The crew, those were the crew, and this is the life. This is what's interesting. The life on the Obra Dinn will tell you something about what's present. Now I'm not sure how long I have till this video is. PlayStation will only give you a full hour, so I might have to make this one pretty quick. Alright, so typically when it comes to investigation or any type of investigation that I do in games, I usually start from the most obvious to the least obvious and work my way in the center. One that's the least suspicious to the one that's most suspicious. And I put them into categories. And once they're in certain categories, I keep them separate from each other. And slowly but surely, if they accumulate certain things that are questionable by nature, I put those things next to them. And slowly but surely I increase the spotlight on them. The furthest from the back and closest to the front. Wait a minute. Hold on. This is an image present here, which is totally separate from here. So this is the entire scene. This is an image present here, and this is an entire scene right here on the top of the crew of the ship. So first guy, closest guy. Who's the first guy? Let's look at the back, see if we see anything. No, that's him. That's her. I'm not looking at that. I'm going to look at what's furthest in the back. Nothing. Nothing present. So now I'm going to pull forward and look at the most distant guy here. And I'm going to look at the closest person, which would be either one of these persons here in the foreground. So each of these guys in the background are going to be considered in the ones in the foreground. Then the one in the center are going to be the least interesting. And I have reasons why I'm doing that. Because I like to pull things towards the center. Both the foreground and the background, pull them towards the center and see what it does to the center and affecting the center. I did it in AI Somnium, so I'll see if it will work here as well. Okay. It doesn't tell me who these people are, so I wouldn't know who they were to begin with. So I can't tell the ethnic background of this person, where they came from, who they are. For all I know, this could be the captain of the ship. But typically a captain would be wearing a uniform. It could be his off day. Could be sleeping or something. You don't know. So there's no indication who anyone is at the moment. You just have to base things on logic. He's a bald guy. He has a beard, which means he's been on the on the sea longer than those who probably more clean shaved. And he's not wearing official officer type clothing and anything that makes him look like he's of any importance whatsoever at all. So unless he crawls out the bed, I would say he's one of the repair people for the ship, or the crewmen, original crewmen of the ship, either English or Swedishman. He's playing a violin. It looks like he's playing a violin, but I can't tell if he's playing a violin or if he has a bear in his hand. Looks like he has his arm out. It looks more like someone is choking him than he has a violin. Or he's raising his arms up with the mug of beer. Looks more like he's raising his arms up with the mug of beer. And he's clean-shaved, bald-headed guy. Looks like he's wearing a scarf or something, which is out of place. Which he's probably not wearing a scarf at all. But the design of his neck seems to imply that he has something around his neck. Or there's a violin attached to. But that doesn't make sense since his right arm looks like he's holding a mug. So that's that. He looks like a crew member. Also similar to this guy. They're both probably standard crew members. He looks like he's completely naked, but he's probably just shirtless and he's wearing like fatigues, but you can't see that much within the image. So he's probably the Arab guy that's on the ship. Also a crewman meant for helping the process of the ship and working on the ship. He looks very much like definitely a crewman, more of a pirate. Definitely one of the crew. So everyone back here is probably crewmen, those who are working on the ship, rather than those who are passengers or of any importance. So the crewmen who are in charge of the ship are close to us, away from everyone else, keeping their distance, watching over everyone having fun. This one is drinking beer and he's having fun. He's watching over, he's watching over, he's watching over. So it seems that the crew are, other than this gentleman, are keeping their distance from everyone else. But they're watching everyone dance and have fun. You don't know who's, they could be a little creepy, but it could be quite normal, standard image. Now, so I'm gonna go with regards to the people at the front now. We don't know who they're looking at, but it's more obvious that they're looking at the people who are dancing and playing the violin more than anything else. People in the front, they're playing like they're playing dices. They also look like crewmen. I don't think they're passengers. They don't look like passengers. And they're not carrying any weapons or anything present on them. It does show their face. And it's very strange within the design of there's not anything in their shirt, under their shirt, around their shirt. I don't understand the logic with regards to having this identification of who these people are if you don't know who they are, unless there's something to be present on how they look and the reason why. Because it doesn't really matter where they're looking, and it doesn't really matter if I'm using this to look at them unless there's something that they have on them to identify them. Facial scars, something that stands out other than the image that they're present, something that they're carrying. But anything that I can zoom in or are identified here aren't present with regards to objects that are around them. It's just identification of who they are in their image themselves. So far nothing present. So there's nothing really important about the people in the background other than they're looking on everything with the people in the foreground, and there's nothing about the people in the foreground other than they're willing to play a game and not pay attention to people who are dancing here. So they're not interested, but they're interested. So they could be looking at them and they could be looking away. But they're doing the same thing here too. So everyone's enjoying their time on the ship in their own. So this will be the end of this video. So far nothing really suspicious that I could identify yet, other than the separation of the different type of enjoyment that people are having. Yeah. So that's it for Obra Dinn for right now. I'll pick this up sometime in the next 2 to 3 days. I do have personal work I have to take care of. So Bayonetta and Obra Dinn will pick up in about 2 or 3 days. But Obra Dinn is going to take a long time. A very long time. This is an investigation game.